let me show you teleporters, because the teleporters, they are very fancy as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to
they're
make...
fancy.
They're also fancy. So I'm going to make this cube. This is going to represent... For teleporters, you need two objects, essentially. You need like the enter portal and exit portal. So let's make this cube.
Okay.
And I'll duplicate this cube. So I have two of them. So this 1 and 2. So let's say this is the entry. So I'm gonna select this, open the inspector, and again, same process. I need to make the collider into a trigger. And now I will attach, let's actually do another thing. You can notice like when you make the collider into a trigger, you cannot grab it. That's because like triggers, they don't represent like physical bodies, they're like volumes which send events. So if you want to have collider as well, usually the thing I do is I just attach another collider, which is not a trigger. So I go to physics, colliders, box collider, and I'll just copy over the size. Oh, there we go. So just
okay.
No,
So that's if you want to. So you're doing this so that the portal is grabbable and movable, right?
Yeah, so you can grab it and move it around.
Okay.
That's the only reason, because essentially you cannot grab triggers. Triggers, like everything goes through triggers, but triggers are used to send events when something enters, stays, and relieves their volume. So
makes sense.
Like a different function. And another thing is, like if you want to make this into a teleporter, I'm going to attach another component, locomotion, interaction, CharacterTeleporter. So this essentially, anytime a player enters this volume now, it'll teleport him. But you need to define an exit. And the thing is, I made it the CharacterTeleporter, it supports multiple exits. So essentially you can have a teleporter which teleports you to a random target. So essentially it picks a target like from the list. I'm just going to add one for now. So you can also assign weight. So for example, you could use this like to add like a normal exit, but you could create like exit which is super rare. So you could have like a portal which usually takes you to some boring place, but on a rare occasion it takes you to some like secret location. So you could implement that using this. Yes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign this as the exit. So let's open this. And essentially the exit is just another object in the scene. And what it does, essentially it transforms you from the core space of this object to the space of the exit. So I'm going to assign it as teleport exit here. And I can leave the defaults. And also transforms the rotation and scale and the velocity, unless you override it. So now actually this should be sufficient. So let's close this. And if I'm going to enter, you see?
Is this a bi-directional portal?
No, the portals...
Oh, no, it's just the entry is over there.
Yeah, you have essentially entry and you have exit. That's the way they work.
Okay.
If you want to have bi-directional portal, technically what you have to do, you have to put a portal entrance on the other one, and then you have a bi-directional one. But I want to show that like in a moment. Cool. So I just want to like show this is going.
Yes. That's what I was trying to...
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, okay.
So for example, if I put it up there,
no,
and you walk in, you see like
what?
But there's another funny thing you can do with this. So it actually... Okay, so another important thing I like to note is essentially that the entrance, like when you enter, it essentially transforms your orientations. For example, if I make this so this is going at 90 degrees and I enter this, it will rotate me appropriately as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually the thing like that you was trying to do. You can angle it as well. And now if you enter,
whoa.
Try entering.
There we go. So I'm going to make teleporters into spike pits now.
Yep.
Yes. It'll launch you with the velocity vector, and it'll launch you into the spike pit.
You can actually do that. So another thing about these is they also can transform scale. So like the relative scale between the entrance and exit, it also matters. So for example, if I take the exit and I make it bigger, now can you try walking into the entrance? You exit, let me actually also rotate. Every time you enter, you exit
there you go.
bigger. So I can use this like to implement like some really interesting mechanics. It can
Wow.
work the other way. So every time like you exit smaller.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yes. So there's another thing. If you want to make a bi-directional portal, what you have to do. So this is our entrance. This is the exit. Let's actually delete this exit, and let's duplicate this one, and we'll make it like so these two refer to each other, and that's the way you can make a bi-directional portal or teleporter. So
A
let's
two-way teleporter system.
Yes. So let's open. Let's actually close this one. Let's make
And
sure
that's
we have.
exactly what I'm gonna use.
Alright. So I have both of them open. I go to configuration. So all I need to do is I need to assign this one as the exit of this one, and assign this one as the exit of this one. And now they're essentially bi-directional. I can go into one. Let's actually make it more interesting. Let's put it over there. Over there. And now I can essentially walk here and I end up here. Or I walk here and I end up back here. There's a special logic like which makes it like so when you teleport a teleporter, it doesn't actually teleport you right back. It doesn't end up like in a loop. It waits until you exit the other teleporter. So
Teleports
smart.
behind you.
what is this? And the fun thing, like it works with the changes. For example, this one, you exit it smaller, but if you enter back, it changes you back because like the relative ratio between the sizes is the same. It's symmetrical essentially. So you can have another operation where essentially you want like a giant teleporter underneath, which teleports you back to a particular spot. So let's actually make a cube again. Let's texture it. All texture. They're just gonna change it. Thank you. Don't do yourself. So let me open the inspector and let's make it. That's interesting. So let's make this into a teleporter again, but like this one, I will want to have a different operation. I don't want it like to transfer you like in a portal, but I want it to just teleport you to a particular spot. So what I'm going to do, let's configure this again. So let's make it a trigger. Let's actually before I configure it, let me place it first. So I'm going to change it back to static. And let's just place it underneath the map. Let's make it really, really huge.
Okay, I'll go fall off then.
So let's make it really, really large.
I missed it.
There we go. So it's like a giant teleporter underneath.
Oh, so basically it's kind of like a catcher. Like if you fall too far, it'll teleport you back
for example,
a location.
Yeah. So you can essentially put it like in
standard issue stuff.
Yeah, so you can put it like in a page and such. So let's change it to trigger again. Let's attach the teleporter. Interaction character teleporter. And let's make our exit. So this is going to be just a point. I'm gonna put it over here. And the way I'm going to configure this one is because I don't want like the relative position of the player to be preserved. So what I'm going to do, I'll add a new exit, assign this as before, but now I will disable the relative exit point. So essentially this means like it doesn't transfer, it just repositions you to the target. So now if
it doesn't transfer their speed to the exit, right? Is that what you mean?
Speed is preserved, but essentially your rotation and relative position isn't like preserved. Let me actually sketch it to you. Let me show you what it does. So let's say you have your entrance and you have your exit. So entrance like goes this way and exit goes this way. So if it's a relative, essentially if you enter here, you will exit here. If you enter here, you will exit here. It essentially it is relative between the 2 points. It essentially takes your relative position, rotation, and scale to the entrance and transfers it to the exit. But if you disable it, it essentially it ignores where you entered. It just spawns you at a point. It doesn't like preserve. If you jump into this one, it just teleports you back here.
Yeah. Yes.
There's also some other properties. There's, for example, target exit velocity. So, for example, you can actually make it so when you exit, it launches you. It changes your velocity. So now I set it like to 30 upwards. So if I jump into this, when it teleports me, it just launches me upwards.
I did not expect it.
Oh wow! Okay.
So you can.
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that either.
It just overrides you, like overrides your current velocity and changes it to something. There are some other things. You can, for example, disable the transfer of rotation or transfer of scale, so it doesn't take into consideration the relative scale of the like entrance and exit. And there is also some other properties. There's, for example, minimum velocity. So this allows you to like make it so it teleports you only when you are moving at particle velocity. And there's also movement direction reference. And essentially this and minimum movement direction and maximum movement direction angle difference. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to essentially say only teleport the player if he's going like along this direction. So let's say you have the entry portal, and you say this is your reference, and you say the player can only it will only teleport if they are moving like along like this direction. So for example, if the player is going this way, it won't teleport him. But if the player goes this way, it will teleport him. So I would say this is for the teleporters. That covers like the basics of the teleporters.